Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking, and I'm here today to speak about the seventh house and therefore a little bit of a descendant as well. Now, I've just made a video about the rising sign, and I've noticed that I forgot to switch on one of the lights, and I didn't even notice that. But that's probably because I've got sun in the 12th house, so I hope you will be able to enjoy that video as well. But anyway, so we got to another pillar of the chart as this is a second point of the compass of your chart, which is called the descendant. And the descendant will describe your own reflection through your relationship, your friends, your lovers, other people overall. I call the seventh house as the house of law of attraction. So, what type of energies you can attract into your life and the ways you can do that. Of course, some of the signs are more pessimistic, some are a lot more optimistic, but there is no such thing like negative or positive quality. You can actually manifest, anything you want to. You just need to put your brain to it. Now, the descendant or the seventh house cusp is called as the house of relationship, but I think it's far more than that. So it's gonna talk to you about how other people, what type of perceptions they've got of you, what you attract, and what you seek out in a partner. So this house, yes, it deals with close relationships and personal ones, but not just in a romantic way. It deals with any type of people you encounter with throughout your life. This is the house of divorce and marriage, separation, but nothing to do with boyfriend and girlfriend drama, because those are shown by the fifth house energy. And in that sense, the fifth house and the seventh house share similar qualities, but as soon as the boyfriend and a girlfriend type of energy turns to become a long-term partnership or even marriage, let's say when people start living together, maybe that's when I would classify the relationship to be a seventh house energy. So I feel like, but a seventh house is all about long-term commitment. However, it doesn't suggest that it will be a long-term commitment. But usually it says that one party of that romantic involvement wants seriousness within the partnership more than the other, for instance. So as I said, the seventh house is any connection to anyone. So overall, people in your life. So you can have a contact with your client or lawyer, but this house rules your open enemies too. Open enemies, what I mean by that, that people who they don't want really to serve your motivations. So seventh house rules your opponents. And I think it does make sense because the seventh house is opposing your first house. So the seventh house always tries to show you a mirror, a reflection of yourself, maybe things which you are not dealing with properly. Now, as I said, seventh house rules over opponents, any type of opponent. So it could be in sport matters, it could be a legal case. All those are opponents. It could be a person who is applying for the same job, and maybe they prefer that person over you. That person is also an opponent. So the seventh house is the house of reflection in someone else's mirror, how other people will see us. So therefore, when you do personality readings of a chart, you must look at the seventh house as well, because astrology is all about polarity. If you look at the fifth house, you're going to have to look at the 11th house as well. And that's how it works. So the seventh house is going to be something the other person wants to teach you. So therefore, it shows characters of your own, which you might bury. or you don't wish to see within yourself. So as I said, this house is more about serious commitment rather than flings, and that's a fifth house meta. But if you are looking for a business partnership with someone, this is the house you're going to have to look at, because it describes what type of business partner you should get together with. All legal matters belong here too. So an emphasized seventh house or Libra can indicate law as a profession, as well as an emphasized ninth house, for instance. So, but this house likes giving advice as well on whether you should settle a quarrel in the court, or it would be a better choice to solve it out of court. So it kind of determines your luck in this area. The seventh house is also the house of publicity. So it reflects your approach to public relations and social events. As I said, this house is responsible to open enemies. And it might sound a little bit scary, but if you really think about it, it's better to know who your enemies are than not knowing them. And the secret enemies, people you don't know about, but they hate you or they don't want you any good, is described by the 12th house. Also, this is the house where you can see your grandparents alongside with the first house. So grandparents, because this is the fourth from the fourth, so it's going to be describing your grandfather from the father's side and the grandmother from the mom's side, because that's going to be the 10th from the 10th. So the sign on the descendants represents the qualities you identify the least with. You are attracted to people who embody those traits of the sign, but it's important to know that they are also present within yourself as well. And the sign is going to show you how you perceive those people. So for instance, if you've got Leo on the cusp of your seventh, you might be attracted to people who are generous or love attention and they are self-confident. But it might be those negative traits which annoy you the most as well. Or at least some of the Leo characters which can annoy you. So maybe the vanity, that they are boastful, or sometimes they are childish. But as I said, the truth is that this sign is somehow within yourself as well. It's just way hidden. So the partner is coming to show you the reflection. So we can call the descendant as the shadow side of yourself. Now, the reason why the descendant is an interesting point, because as I mentioned in the ascendant video, that's the sunrise. This is going to be the sunset. So think about it. The sun is going down. It's getting darker. So things which are behind the scene and it's not visible anymore for others. So that's the hidden traits of your personality. And sometimes what we do is we criticize those people because we find it easier to project it onto others and even blame them for some of the qualities we don't like within ourselves. And we don't necessarily want to recognize those. So I give you a very good example here. I've got Pisces rising sign, and I think I'm compassionate and I'm a giver, and you know, I'm all about love and saving others. But I've got a Virgo descendant, which is very scrutinizing, detail-driven. You know, it's a very practical way of thinking. So, and I never kind of associated myself with those energies. But there were a couple of years ago, maybe last year, when one of my friends told me that you are so critical, you are so scrutinizing, and why do you have to hang up on little things which don't even matter? And I'm like, you don't even know me. Like, that's not me. And I started calling around my friends, and they were like, Yeah, you are very critical. Yeah, you are very sarcastic, and that's how you want to, awaken us. You're trying to show us a type of mirror. And I was absolutely shocked that at least four out of five friends of mine told me that I'm very sarcastic, very scrutinizing, very detail driven. And I started thinking about it, and I kind of started noticing those traits. So, seventh house is a point in your chart where you need to be looking into the mirror. The seventh house will describe your expectations in one-to-one relationship. So the sign ruling the seventh house and the planets there show the way we present ourselves in these relationships and how we expect others to treat us. Now, in medical astrology, the seventh house will describe the type of doctor you need, how you relate to food. When it comes to body parts, it rules your kidney, ovaries, bladder, balance. So something to do with your hormones and vitamins. And also, this is something to do with your inner ear. Seventh house also rules over contractual agreements. So when you are signing a contract, you do that with the seventh house. But also this house manages experts you hire. So attorneys, agents, others who maybe represent you or you collaborate with. Now, in mundane astrology, this is going to be talking about the national marriage and divorce ratio, public enemies to the nation, outlaws and fugitives, whether peace will happen after the war or not, treaties and agreements with other countries, international welfare, and something to do with commercial agreement as well. Now, in horary astrology, actually, that's where we check the opponent. Who is going to be winning a sport event is also decided from the first and the seventh house. First house is your favorite team, and the seventh house is the opponent. And if you want to learn about horary, then I'm going to be starting a course on the 20th of March, which is going to last for 16 weeks. Plenty of examples. We're going to be looking at least, I think, 200 examples I prepared. So it's going to be a full-on course about horary, which is able to give you yes and no answers. A very, very powerful tool. I think whoever wants to become an astrologer must know about horary. Yes, so that's what the seventh house is all about. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to press like and ring the notification bell and share the video with others, and also sign up for my newsletter as well on AstroViktor.com so you can learn more about astrology. See you soon with another educational and weekly video. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.